Curt Cignetti and the Hoosiers climbing in the rankings to number 13, right behind Notre Dame, pummeling teams on their way to it. We'll break down the Nebraska game. What happened to Nebraska in this game? What? We're going to talk about it all on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. Let's get into it.
Takes a shot. Walker 3 on the way.
Hello guys, and thank you once again for joining me on this episode of Indiana Sports Connection. I am your residential anchor here, proud father of an Indiana football team here that is absolutely killing it. I mean, how much exuberance, how much just love for this team do we have? I'm going to tell you, this is what you live for when you love sports. I'm just a guy who loves sports, and I'm going to tell you, over the summer, through the spring and the summer, when we heard all of the hoopla surrounding Cignetti and all of this stuff, you somewhat, as an Indiana fan, you just turn a little bit of a blind eye to it because we're like, yeah, we've heard a lot of that. What I'm realizing is how much this is more and more common these days. It's just how much we just live in silos, I watch Indiana. I really follow Indiana basketball and the football team, but just how, nobody talked about this coach. And so for Scott Dolson to go out there and find this guy and to really recognize what the type of system that he could bring into Indiana, I just have to say, Scott Dolson, hats off to you on this coaching hire. Hats off to Scott Dolson on this coaching hire. It's just unbelievable what Curt Cignetti is doing at Indiana. We're going to talk about all that and more on the show. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button down below. This is Indiana Sports Connection, the most electric show talking about Indiana, Hoosiers, football, and basketball. We talk about it all on this show, so hit the subscribe button down below. Thank you so much for being here. I'm just a normal guy. This is where the most passionate fans come to talk about the game, so I thank you for being here. And we have a few giveaways on the show. So at 1,200 subscribers, which will be coming up on this video, I'm going to do a home field apparel giveaway. So we got 10 subscribers, so hit that subscribe button and sign yourself up to win yourself a home field apparel shirt. They have some of the softest material shirts. I got a few of these. Fantastic. And you can get an IU football shirt on there as well. You will have your pick of shirts on Home Field Apparel. They got some really cool football ones on there. It's time to get your football gear. Also, the show is sponsored by BetUS. Use my promo code Indiana125 in the description down below. You get 125% sign-up bonus on your first 3 deposits. So you'll be getting 25% one time, 25%, 2 times, 25%, 3 times. That's 75% of free money for signing up at BetUS. Thank you to them for sponsoring this video. All of the AdSense revenue on this channel will go to Tunnel 2 Towers, T2T.org if you want to know more about them. But I am donating all the AdSense revenue on this channel to the veterans, the fallen heroes of this country that make it all possible that we can do stuff like this to begin with. Without them, we are nothing. So we got all that out of the way. You hit the thumbs up button, get the video out to more Hoosier fans across the country and across the globe. People are just jumping on this Hoosier bandwagon. I'm going to tell you, it's starting to have the scent of the TCU team and whatever year that was, 2015, 2016, the TCU team that went undefeated. But those teams were in a lot of close games, and this Indiana team is just pummeling teams. So without further ado, let's get into talking about the Indiana Hoosiers. All right. So the first note I wrote on here is the awareness on this team is so high. I mean, they seem almost militant in a way. I mean, you feel like the coach could go over to any player off the bench and just be like, I need you to block this guy. And he's just like, sir, yes, sir, and just runs out onto the field. Everybody is so keyed in on everything that's happening in the game. It's just there's just a heightened awareness of the entire group out there on the field. And so what does that do? I mean, to me, that makes it this team, how they're spreading the ball around and that everybody is involved, they are just very, very hard to game plan for. You could see that Nebraska's defense just really struggled. And like, let's talk about this for a second. The whole storyline all week was Nebraska's not giving up a rushing touchdown. Well, they gave up 5 rushing touchdowns in this game. So is that their MO anymore? They better go back to the drawing board on that, because I think in this game, they got a little bit too concerned like they're going to get picked apart in the passing game. Like, one of my favorite highlights of the game, Hillbilly Monkey, we got this highlight. Justice Ellison, I mean, he just made this guy on Nebraska look like a toddler out there. I'm going to tell you, I play Lava Monster with my daughter quite often, and I can juke her out of her shoes. She is no match for me when it comes to, maneuvering around the kitchen. And that's what Justice Ellison made him look like. Let's look at the call on this Hillbilly Monkey. This was fantastic. In the open field, he just wrenched him and got him all turned around. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that clip real quick.
Second down and short. They'll hand it off. Ellison! Cuts it back. Touchdown, Indiana. 31 yards. Wow.
So what really happened in this game? And something that is not being talked about, why Indiana blew them out so badly, is their special teams are so bad. Nebraska was 0 for 5 on 4th down. Like, not being able, I think in a couple of those spots, I really would have kicked a field goal. There was I think a position where they could have made it like 10-14, I believe. When it was 7-0, they went for it on 4th down. This was a huge play right here. But the fact that they don't believe in their punter and they don't believe in their field goal unit, that had a huge impact on this game, putting them in these like all or nothing 4th down scenarios where this was a huge one. It was 7-0. It's early in the game. Jalen Walker comes in, and the next thing we're going to talk about, this game's not about X's and O's. It's about the Jimmies and Joes. And this Jimmy and this Joe on this play, they made it happen. Hillbilly Monkey, let's roll that highlight.
Dowdell, the deep back, second man through, and he picks up and he fumbles. Indiana says they have it. Beautiful job by number 2, Jalen Walker.
What was happening in this game? It's like Indiana's offense is so potent that it really puts a lot of pressure on Nebraska's offense to score every time. Then you kind of factor in they have a freshman quarterback, a true freshman quarterback, and maybe not that many dynamic wide receivers on the outside. Really, that 24, that tight end for Nebraska, he's probably like their best playmaker. And you could just see how Indiana exposed them all over the place. And it's because Indiana's so well coached, like through and through. There's no real way, and I think that's what we got to look at going forward. How do you stop Indiana? Who do you cover? Because you got 3 good running backs, and you got wide receivers on Indiana making plays like this.
Winds up down the field. And it's caught inside the 10.
From a year ago, and how about this with the contact from Buford right in his chest?
Yeah, when Indiana's making catches like that, and then you realize we're gonna have this is gonna be a high-scoring game, it puts a ton of pressure on the other team. You see this happen with the Kansas City Chiefs all the time. I mean, and one other thing you see with really well-coached teams like the Kansas City Chiefs is like when something bad happens. That's why with this injury to Curtis Rourke, I'm not that worried because, well, for one, Tavon Jackson's been there, and I don't think he's going to have trouble. He's been chomping at the bit to get out there, and he's been there last year, and he's stuck with the team this year, and to have his opportunity to play in this game, he's a little bit better runner than Curtis Rourke, maybe not as accurate of a passer, maybe his velocity, I don't know if he has a stronger arm. It's hard to say, but he had a nice pass to Surratt down there. But my point of this is really well-coached teams like Kansas City, when they have like Rashee Rice go down, you just plug somebody else in and you think, God, it's like they almost got better in a way. Less people to key in on, and they're going to spread the ball around. I think Indiana's got this game against Washington. I don't want to get too overconfident already. And I also do think there is an outside chance that Curtis Rourke might play. I would not put it past that they have a little bit of gamesmanship. I know ESPN. And look, I've heard a few. I was listening on the radio on the way to work yesterday, and it come on the news and stuff, and it almost seemed like some doom and gloom talk, like Curtis Rourke, his Achilles went out, or he's had an ACL tear. It's like he chipped his thumbnail. I don't know if it's just the nail. I don't think there's anything structural about it. I did see in the comments yesterday, few people, I wasn't at the game, but a few people said they talked to him after the game. He was walking by some tailgates, and he's like, I feel fine. He's like, I'm going to be fine. It's just something small. So for what it's worth, he said that to a few people outside the stadium afterwards. So that is what it is. But I don't think it's a big deal that he misses this game. I think Indiana will win this game. But the one other, and this was my favorite call of the entire game, Ashbury getting the interception. And this is where, like we were just talking about, Indiana forces teams into this when you're going to be 0 for 5 on 4th down. Those are all, opportunities that you could have, a lot of these, they could have got field goals, or they could have got something to at least build a little bit of confidence with your team. But it's so deflating when you go for it on 4th down. And then this happens right here, and Gus Johnson on the call. This was absolutely fantastic. This is my favorite one of the game, where I was going absolutely insane when this happened. And Hillbilly Monkey rolled that clip.
Up the sideline. Indiana, Asbury, walking them down. America, they got a football team now.
They are getting it done like they've never, ever got it done before. And it makes me want to just stand on the top of a mountaintop and scream out like, finally they're good. But nobody's going to believe in this bunch. There's going to be a lot of naysayers, and there's going to be a lot of people jump on the bandwagon. So get on the bandwagon. Even if you are a naysayer and you're watching this video, leave your comments down below. Tell me what you think of the Hoosiers. I want to hear from all of you. Like, where are you at on everything with them? How jazzed up are you, And I got a couple of clips of Cignetti after the game. His press conferences are epic at this point, and he is just becoming a legend, living in his own skin here in Bloomington. So this first clip, just one thing he said, and we'll talk about it right after the clip. Hillbilly Monkey, roll this clip of Curt Cignetti.
Today, big game because it was this game, and dominant win. So I know people are going to ask me about Curtis Rourke. Thought he played really well in the first half. He hit a thumb on I believe a helmet, and the nail kind of came off, and so we'll know more tomorrow. But optimistic.
So yeah, I just thought it's like this was the most important game because it's this game. That's the entire mentality of this entire team. This is the most important play because it's the play we're running right now. This is the most important defense because this is like just having that. It's almost like the lights aren't too bright type of mentality. Like, look, just get it done. No matter what, just get it done. That is all that really matters in all of this. And they are getting it done in ways that they've never got it done before. And then Cignetti went on to say this, which we'll talk about what epic line he said next.
Well, it's a veteran team with the right kind of guys, got a good staff, and it all starts at the top. I'm not going to let them get complacent, or the coaches either, and I was a maniac in the fourth quarter of this game, a maniac. But we responded. It was a tight game, like I said, and then we broke it open with some key plays. Some of those back shoulder catches got us going, and Curtis, we hit a couple runs.
Yeah, he's a maniac. In the fourth quarter of this game, that's what you want to hear. This guy has so many shades of like the old ball coach, doesn't he? These are the types of guys Look, when I played sports, I loved to play for. I loved to play for guys that would yell and scream, really try to get under your skin and try to do whatever they could to motivate you. And you knew that deep down, this guy really wanted the best for you and they really wanted to see you do well. That is something that's lost in all of the world and all of sports these days. People just want instant success. They just want a talented guy that can run fast and jump high. And people say, look how talented he is. Look what he does. But this type of coach is the type of coach that gets every cent out of every single player out there. And you love to see it. Oh my God. It is just such a breath of fresh air. And that it is one of the reasons why I love sports so much. You know, they don't make any good movies anymore. They don't make any good TV shows anymore. They don't make a lot of stuff anymore. But we can still rely on sports to provide us with some level of entertainment. And that's what Curt Cignetti's doing this year. And, oh yeah, what do you think about it, Hillbilly Monkey? This is the kind of old school coach, that kind of old school guy that everybody loves, everybody wants to root for because you can relate. You can relate to everything, how he does it, how he is, and how he expects excellence. And I think that's what people in Indiana want for their own lives. They don't want this just for the team. They want to have somebody to look up to. People looked up to Bob Knight for years. He was like the governor of Indiana. Well, you're right about that. He was the governor of Indiana. Curt Cignetti, if he takes his team deep into the college football playoff, he could be the governor of Indiana as well. A lot of the fans in Indiana, lovers of Indiana sports have been just waiting for something like this to happen to the basketball team or the football team or anywhere. You know, we just had a brief stint with Tom Crean with some excitement in 2012, 2013 for a couple years, and then that wavered away. So Indiana fans are ravenous. They've been waiting for a coach like this, for somebody to come along to just pull our heads out of the sand and to show us like, you can be a winner. We can be something. And we got it all rolling now. People are going to be talking about the Hoosiers and the national media and the national spotlight. I got another clip here of the coach, but he was asked specifically in this comment about what he thought about how the team performed, how the offense performed, and his answer, it's always team first with Curt Cignetti. Roll the clip.
Ranked as one of the better defenses in the conference coming in. What does that say about your offense?
I think this says a lot about our team. Now, I know there was a national perception that Nebraska had a pretty legit defense on a national scale, so that opened their eyes, okay? But I think this is a great team.
So I love that response. This guy, he is literally shitting ice cream cones right now. I mean, everything he says, everything he does, he just needs to keep doing it and keep pressing all the right buttons with these guys. And I don't think there is not a secret sauce to it. They're not doing it through trick plays or anything like that. They're doing it through just having a flat out awesome execution at every step of the way. And that's what you see out of this group. The more I look at the plays they run, they're not running anything magical. I mean, Surratt is running like a 10-yard dig. He's just getting open, and Curtis Rourke's putting the ball where it needs to be. It's not rocket surgery. It's just a matter of having high expectations and making sure that the execution of those high expectations is going to happen, or else you're going to be out of there. I mean, that's it. And everybody, once you get this many guys, this bought in and this like ravenous about winning these games, it's pretty hard to stop. You take a bunch of these guys really from like these knockoff conferences, you know, Club USA or whatever it is, you know, whatever conferences all these guys come from, the Sun Belt, and they have huge chips on their shoulders, and they have morphed themselves into like a big Morpheus being. This is just rolling over the entire Big Ten conference. Can they keep getting it done week in and week out, leading up to Ohio State? I can't wait to see what is going to continue to happen with this team, how they're going to be talked about in the national media, and it is a sight to see. We are witnessing history every day here at Indiana, and it's just unreal. It's just unreal. Indiana could be the new Clemson. How about that? Wouldn't that be something? Getting too far out in front of my skis there, but Indiana, it's unreal, and I'm happy to have you here talking about the Hoosiers. Leave your comments down below. Thank you so much for watching the video. Until next time, stay classy out there, Hoosier fans. Hey guys, thank you for joining me on the video today. If you want to see more videos like this, click this video right here, and you'll see more Indiana Sports Connection. Thank you for subscribing and giving the video a thumbs up and being here today. I appreciate it more than you know. Bye-bye.